copy the footage and then zoom it in. Yeah, I'll do that. More tea, Vicar? Yeah, it says live.
Yeah, I just had the notification. On my iPad and my phone.
How do I view it? You can't seem to view it from the channel. It's a bit strange.
Well, hey! So, magic key leads to nothing. She-Hulk has come out, and we're going to talk about some Disney legends. That's Ollie, that's John, who knows not much about Disney, and my name is Ben, and this is episode 5 of Dismal Disney. Good evening, gentlemen!
Good evening.
Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, how are we?
Well, we're probably considerably cooler than you are, judging by the face.
We're not even 30 seconds into the show, John, and you've already done it. You've already taken the Mickey Mouse out of my sunburn. So, would you like to know how I got this sunburn?
Oh, do enlighten us, do enlighten us.
I've been at an air show watching planes go. That's really it. I sat on the beach watching the air show all day. In fact, there's a vlog coming out of that air show with some of our Chasing Descent fans. They came from London to come and spend the day at the air show with me and our fellow Chasing Descent fan, Spencer. So we did a day on the air show. I sat on the beach on my mobility scooter and roasted like a pig on a spit roast.
How is your mobility scooter with its new batteries?
Fantastic.
Also, it was just the batteries.
It was, yeah. We just needed £100 worth of battery. But anyhow, Ollie, what have you been up to since we last spoke to you?
Not much, really. Just, working and lying horizontally so as to preserve energy. I also might need a mobility scooter myself in the near future. Certainly when I go to Disney World.
There's certainly good bits of kit. You should.
Yeah, I think you can rent them at Disney World, right?
I don't think you can rent them directly from Disney, but there are certainly companies that will rent them to you.
Yeah. I think I'm going to need one.
It's always good to have a cripple with you or be one.
It's true.
Well, I just became one this year, so yeah. I'm adjusting.
He is, and we know how it happened. It was a certain injectable, and we will say nothing more than that, will we, Ollie?
We won't. We don't want to get shut down.
Nope, we don't want to get shut down. And John's face, like he didn't know. Oh, you didn't know, did you?
I didn't know.
Well, yeah, he is injectable injured.
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to hear that.
That's okay. I mean, I haven't got a direct correlation. There was a couple of moves in between that and it happening, but I'm pretty sure it was the causation.
Yeah. And if you actually push your doctors, we might actually get to the root of that. Anyway, Ollie, what are we talking about tonight?
Tonight, you've already given the highlights, but the headlines. But before we start on those, I just wanted a quick interjection. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about obviously the Quinjet at Paris getting roped off because kids were running up the curved concrete.
Yes.
I think that was probably a week or two after it opened.
Not even a week, I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. Today, after a month now, the first thing has been removed because it was damaged, which was Thor and Loki's pedestal. That has been removed because people were climbing on it and damaged it. So that's the first removal from the land was today.
So Thor and Loki's pedestal, for those who don't know, it's not big, but it's actually part of a show. It's actually part of a bit of entertainment where Thor and Loki appear in the land and get the guests to try and lift Thor's hammer. Thor's hammer is placed upon the pedestal. There is obviously some kind of magnet or mechanism within the pedestal, and obviously people can't lift it. And you're telling me that this piece of themed entertainment, not just a piece of actual theming, has now been removed, probably diminishing the entertainment available to guests in the land.
Yep. So that's reported by ED92 on Twitter about an hour ago. I know. It's not surprising, is it? Like, you'd think that, guests won't be able to ruin the entertainment which happens on the roofs of the land, but I'm sure they'll find a way.
Oh, yeah. Well, we said that by the time we get out there, you being September, me being October, that a lot of this themed entertainment will probably be missing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
And I believe we've seen the first step of that, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I've got a month to go. You've got 2 months to go. So yeah, we'll see what else has gone by the time we get there.
Right. Let's get into it then, Ollie.
Okay. So the first story of the week is Disneyland in Anaheim announcing renewals, or taking place as well. Renewals of their new annual pass, the Magic Key. The highlights include, or lowlights, if you would like to put it, I'd like to put it that way. The highest tier is now $200 more. People had to queue online with no guarantee of getting one. There's now blockout dates for every single pass instead of just the top tier didn't used to have blockout dates, but now even the top tier has blockout dates.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean? Does that mean that people? Does that mean like particularly busy days or holidays or something? They just won't allow annual passes to be used.
Yes.
Got it.
So yeah. I'm an Infinity annual pass holder for Disneyland Paris, right, John? And with Infinity there is no blockout, but the tiers below it there are plenty of blockout dates, and you're looking at now about 450 to 500 euros for an Infinity. I paid 400 a year for mine up until recently, but it's actually quite good value considering all you get with it. The perks are good.
Yeah, and the thing is, I mean, what does it cost for a one-day entry?
Well, this is it. And I mean, with my Infinity annual pass, I get up to 50% off their hotels. I get 20% off every piece of merchandise I buy in the parks, whether or not it's on sale. So even if it's already got 75% off, which sometimes things do, I can get another 20% off that. I get 15% off all my food. And if you're actually going to use it and actually attend the parks, it will easily pay for itself in discounts alone.
The Paris,
quite a substantial amount off my parking.
I did get you a substantial amount off your parking, didn't I?
The parking was about 66% off.
Yeah, because I got you your parking for 15 euros, was it?
Yeah, as opposed to 45.
Yeah, and that's for an RV for 24 hours.
Yeah,
in their RV park. The perks are good if you're going to use them.
So yeah, the Paris pass has always been the most value for money. Like, it's basically been cheap as chips for years and years. I read on Twitter recently that someone said that like years ago, this is probably 20 years ago now, they used to give away, you buy 1 year of pass and you got a year's free. I heard that was a thing. So Paris has always been crazy cheap.
In fact, I've actually had one of these passes myself, where when I was first a Disneyland Paris annual pass holder, if you got an annual pass and then you recommended someone else, you both got an extra year free.
Bloody hell.
Yeah. It was good. You both got an extra year free. So you'd end up with a 2-year pass for the price of one. And your second person also got a discount, by the way.
Wow. In comparison, the new Inspire tier at the top tier at Anaheim is now $1,600. Which obviously now includes the blockout dates. You still get your perks, but they have still, like we were talking about last week, Chapek was talking about it in the earnings call about, they're basically keeping COVID protocols forever now. So even when you spend $1,600, you can only have 6 reservations at a time.
That's ridiculous.
So John, basically in the past, you used to be able to, if you had an annual pass at Disneyland Anaheim, which was in the region of about $1,000 until recently, you could turn up whenever you wanted, all day, every day. You could park up, I think, and you basically turn up whenever you wanted, all day, every day, 365. Now you're paying $1,600, and you've got block out dates, and you can only make 6 reservations at a time. So you can only,
So you can't just turn up to a Disney park, and in fact that's the same in Paris now. You can't just turn up to the park and expect to be let in, except if you are, in Paris at least, a hotel guest. So if you've like booked a bed and breakfast in their hotel, and you feel like, oh, I want to go in the park today, you can just rock up, but otherwise you can't.
So that's one comparison, and Disneyland Anaheim is effectively what, the same size as Paris, or
it's smaller. I'd say it's a smaller resort.
It's got more rides. It's got more rides, but it's effectively smaller or about the same size.
Right.
I think they've got less land.
What's the price for a Disney World annual pass?
Oh, that's a question.
I would say it's probably about the same as I'm guessing. But I think because there used to be a pass in America where you could get both. You could get one pass for both Disney World and Anaheim.
It was $2,000.
It was $2,000 for both, exactly. So you basically used to, until recently, I know it was pretty much about $1,000 each. I think it was about the same in Florida as it was in Anaheim, because obviously there's less annual pass holders in Florida, and so I think it was about the same price, even though there's more there. I think Florida is about £1,000 each, so $2,000 if you want both.
That's 4 parks and 2 water parks.
Yeah, but they'll let you into all the Disney World parks in Florida
on that pass. Yeah.
Wow.
I think you might have to pay for water parks, but yeah,
I believe on the multi pass, the water parks were inclusive.
Oh, really? Well, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
multi pass.
Yeah. They haven't brought that back though. They haven't brought that double pass back yet, have they?
Do you know what? I don't think they ever will. Because if they could phase out annual passes completely, trust me, they would.
Yeah.
But Disneyland in Anaheim, actually, I would say probably relies on them, because it is a locals park.
Yeah, which is crazy because they constantly moan about them. Like, I saw a guy on Twitter today who's already he was in the hub in Disneyland, and he had already a T-shirt which said unfavorable guest mix or attendance mix on his T-shirt already. Yeah. So like they're always complaining about annual pass holders. Yet they literally would. Yeah, I mean, without them, they would be nothing in Anaheim.
It's true, John. Disneyland in Anaheim it relies heavily on it's just its annual pass holders, but in fact the locals, because without them it would not survive. And
I mean, face it, if you're anywhere in America that's not right on Anaheim's doorstep, you go, let's go to Disney World.
Well, yeah,
that's true.
Because Disney World is just the better place. But even that has become ridiculous, right? And, I haven't been to Disney World in, I'd say 17 years. And now you cannot just wake up in your hotel and go, oh, I want to go to Animal Kingdom today. Or I want to go to Typhoon Lagoon today. Or I want to go to Magic Kingdom today. You have to plan everything, right down to what you are going to ride, weeks, even months in advance.
So I was in Disney World in 2018.
So you did, so not too many years ago. Did you have the magic bands?
No, we didn't bother because we only bought a 2-day 2-park entry or something, for Disney and Epcot. But you could turn up any day you wanted. You had a choice out of
no more.
You could turn up any day out of 14.
You can't do that no more.
You just turned up and walked in.
I've got my trip in October. I've had planned basically for 6 months, so I've known which park I'm going to on which day, and so then 3 months before, so at the start of August, I had to book my restaurants, so I know exactly what I'm eating at what time of each day. I don't know enough personally to work out the whole Genie Plus thing, but like Ben was saying about you have to organise your rides, what ride you want to ride as well, what time.
You have to.
I haven't even looked into that yet. I can't even be bothered with it. I'm sort of person who likes to wander around and make a decision at a time. I can understand booking restaurants because they're popular.
What you got to say, John?
You've got to be a special kind of Shalini to want to do
that. Oh dear. But no, he's absolutely right, John. You can't. So Disney World, you have to make a park reservation, and you have to make it in advance. You have to know what park you're going to on what day. Even though you still have park hopper tickets,
yeah.
You can still park hop if you've reserved to do so, I believe.
No, I'm not doing that. Sorry. I mean, we actually went to Epcot on the day we were going to the airport.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because there was only a couple of things we wanted to do in Epcot. We wanted to go on the Mission to Mars thing. Was it Mission to Mars?
Mission
Space. Mission Space, or whatever it's called. But you fly to Mars on the centrifuge, and that was brilliant. That was intense, super intense, and brilliant. Really enjoyed it, But that was the main reason for going to Epcot.
Yeah, no, you can't do that anymore.
No, exactly.
You can't just go, oh, I feel like going to Epcot today. You'd have to wake up and make a park reservation if there is a park reservation available, and if there's not a park reservation available, you're not going.
You know what? I'm too old to wait for that kind of shit.
No,
which is why we were talking about the other week about the Halloween parties, and they're like those evening events now are literally the best way to enter the park.
Yeah,
so you might pay a little bit more than entrance. I think I'm going on the day I'm going, the Halloween party is $160, whereas I think entrance might be between $110 and $150 maybe per day.
Yeah.
But you're going in you can get in at I think 4 or 5 p.m. for the Halloween party. There's gonna be no queues. You're there till midnight. So yeah, literally the best way to go into Disney World. Well, Disney World specifically, or probably Anaheim as well.
Yeah.
Is to do an evening party.
Yeah, that sounds ideal. It really does, and I think you're right, Ollie. But that's definitely the best way, and you better make it. Well, you're obviously taking advantage of it because they'll clamp down on that next.
Yeah, I mean, it seems
sorry, Ben, you go ahead. For an entertainment company, they seem to be driving entertainment away from people.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, we can go back to what Ollie said right at the beginning, right? Just taking out that plinth out of Disneyland Paris. That's removing a piece of entertainment from the public. And I believe people are still queuing to get into Avengers Campus, which is a bit weird. But
I'll look forward to seeing the footage because I take it you'll be filming it.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. And I'm going to get some pre me going footage from Ollie because he's going before me.
Right. Okay. Cool.
And he's going to be taking lots of footage for the channel from Florida.
I need to get a gimbal really because my footage will be shaky cam otherwise.
When to Florida?
Huh?
When are you going to Florida again?
I'm going to Florida on the 4th of October. I'm going to Paris on the 19th of September.
Cool.
So he shall be collecting footage from Florida for us, and we will edit it for him and put it out as the days go. But yes, get yourself a gimbal, Ollie. Argos.
Okay, thanks for the tip.
Yes, get it in Argos.
I still need to buy my travel insurance. I still need to get my money. It's just I'm still thinking of things to do.
Yeah, lots to do. But I hope you have a great time. Obviously.
Yeah, so do I.
And are you going Are you going to the Universal parks?
I will not go to Universal. No. In my original. Well, hang on a second, John. Hang on a second. In my original, I was originally supposed to go in April 2020. Yeah, I had everything booked up for April 2020. Yeah. I was going to Florida for 6 days, and then I was flying from Florida to Anaheim for another week.
Bloody hell.
Then I was flying back from Los Angeles. Uh-huh. Obviously, I literally thought. It's March 2020. Yeah, we all know what happened in March 2020.
Yep.
So, literally, I'm going to America in the first week of April, and just my holiday, as March goes on, my holiday just becomes less and less realistic.
Yeah. And
then I spent the next 2 years planning and replanning it probably 4 or 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
So here we are. My most recent plan was for January. That didn't work out. So now it's moved obviously to this October. So it's been, and I'm considerably more broke than I was in April 2020.
Yeah.
So I can no longer afford to go to California. So it's just the Florida trip.
And how long are you out there?
Like 8 days. 8 days. So
Yeah.
Tuesday to Tuesday.
Are you staying on Disney property?
Yeah, I'm staying in the Polynesian for 2 nights.
Oh, that's expensive.
It really is.
Yep.
Hopefully going to get into Trader Sam's, which is literally my nirvana. So
yep. I know it is. I know it is, Mr. Tiki over there.
If I get into Trader Sam's, I'm getting to MCO at like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Taxi to the Polynesian. I'm gonna, before I even get to my room, I'm probably gonna go to Trader. I'm gonna check in. I think might not be able to do it before I check in. But the second I'm gonna walk up to Trader Sam's, get a reservation because this place is packed, and so you have to get there early. So yeah, if I get to like Trader Sam's on the first Tuesday evening, then I can relax because that's literally the main thing that I want to do.
No, fair
Is
enough.
that a bar?
It's a
Trader
bar.
Sam's. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a tiki themed bar, and the first one opened in.
Is it on the International Drive?
No, it's on.
It's in the Polynesian resort.
Polynesian, right? Okay.
Yeah. So the first one opened in California in I can't remember the date, like early 2010s. I want to say like 10 years ago, and then Trader Sam's probably a few years after that in Grotto in Florida opened a few years after that in the Polynesian, and they're literally it's basically Disney nerd heaven.
Is that in the Disney Village? Oh, it's in the hotel.
It's in the hotel.
Yes, in the hotel. It's literally on the side of the hotel. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm guessing maybe to an all-star resort after that?
Swan Reserve.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still paying?
Still paying. The big bucks.
Yep.
I won't divulge how I'm affording this, but I'm going with my sister. So it's
it doesn't matter how you're affording it. The fact that you're doing it is brilliant, and it's a dream for you. So and we can't wait to put together the footage.
Yeah, while we're on that, how is your OnlyFans channel doing?
Yes.
Pretty well, actually. Yeah, pretty well. There's a lot of desperate Disney fans out there who will pay to see me posing with plush.
I do like plushy.
Do you know what?
Actually, maybe I should think about it. No, joking.
You didn't get out the porgs.
The what? Sorry, the porgs?
You promised the porgs for this week.
Oh no, it was Ewoks, wasn't it? Sorry, it was Ewoks, not porgs.
Oh, the Ewoks, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot. I'm sorry.
Porg?
Huh?
What's a porg?
It's another annoying fluffy thing from Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, look.
Moving on.
Yeah, let's move on, shall we? So, Disneyland Magic Key is.
Sorry, I actually interrupted Ollie in the middle of him telling us Magic Key.
Yes. Okay. So let's finish up about the Magic Key, Ollie.
No, I think I pretty much covered everything. It was basically just how long are they going to prolong the COVID protocols, the reservation system?
Forever.
Is that forever? Yeah, that's basically forever now, we think.
It suits them well because they can extract the most money possible out of people by doing this, and that's what they're doing, right? Because they're telling people it's exclusive. You need to do this. You need to book Genie Plus. You need to book all this.
Yeah.
You need to book all that. You need to make sure you've got enough money when you come here because you're not going to get in that restaurant if you don't want to.
You bring all your money because you won't be leaving with any.
No, you won't. Right, and I'll tell you what, John, when we go to Florida, just for shits and giggles, I'm going to go the first day we go to Disney with a picnic.
I don't normally eat in the parks anyway.
No, no. Theme park food is theme park food. And when I'm in Paris, I usually come out of the park and go to Five Guys and get a burger there.
Yeah, and Florida's that small that you can leave the park and go to
International Drive.
Yeah, International Drive and take your.
I will be finding a Taco Bell as soon as I get there because I.
Oh no, Taco Bell!
I love Taco Bell so much.
We've got a Taco Bell here in Eastbourne.
We're supposed to be getting one in Bristol, but it hasn't opened yet.
Taco Bell is the worst. It's the worst of American fast food. It is the worst.
I tell you what. I like US KFC because they don't do bloody chips.
I prefer Popeyes.
Yeah, but KFC in America, I can get mac and cheese. Well, in Florida anyway, and it's quite good.
Popeyes fried chicken is vastly superior to KFC.
Okay.
And also,
have you tried it?
Yes.
But,
Yes, Ollie.
vastly superior.
there's a Mexican restaurant in America called Moe's. I think it's Moe's, which do amazing burritos and everything. But basically, Taco Bell is basically McDonald's. Everyone loves McDonald's. Like if you get a craving for McDonald's, you need to go there. And the same with Taco Bell. If you get a craving for Taco Bell, you need to go there.
Now, where you want to go is Tony Roma's on International Drive and get their endless slab of ribs. That's what you want to do.
The place for ribs.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Anyway, shall we move on?
Let's move on. Okay, so She-Hulk launched the first episode on Disney Plus. On John, stop! I haven't even. Let me read the title first. Come on.
Go for it.
She-Hulk was released. Grimacing. She-Hulk was released on Disney Plus, episode 1 on Thursday, and Forbes. This boggles my mind. I don't know why Forbes are reporting on like Disney Plus, but Forbes is reporting that She-Hulk is getting review bombed even harder than Miss Marvel. So if you look at the IMDb rating,
it's
for
so far deservedly so, I'd say.
Well, should we take?
What is the rating, Ollie?
Well, if you look at the rating, so it's basically got 50% of the votes are in the 10 column, and then 50% of the votes are in the 1 column. So, and then like a smattering in between.
It's Marmite then. It's Marmite.
It is Marmite. Exactly. You're right. It's Marmite. So I feel like the review bombers got out early. They've got it to like 35%, sorry, on 1 rating. And then obviously the people that love it have come back and realized it's being review bombed and tried to compensate by then 43%.
Let me stop you there.
Sorry.
Because the people that love it are bots.
Well, no, that's possibly true.
But
then you could say,
hold on, Ollie.
Sure.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Okay, moving on from the review bombing.
To the review. Let's review it.
I thought that it was fun. I thought it was enjoyable. I thought it was funny. I liked the fact that she is somebody who does not want to be a superhero, somebody who has had, this thrust upon them accidentally. I like the fact that she wants to carry on with her career and not join the Avengers immediately the second she gets superpowers. I thought it was, the effects that everyone was complaining about in the trailer, the effects look fine to me. I didn't notice anything dodgy with the effects.
I thought the whole thing looked like a PS2 game, man.
By the way, let Ollie finish. Let him finish.
Let me finish. It was obvious that they couldn't afford Mark Ruffalo for the entire duration, so they made him Smart Hulk, which was a bit of a cop-out in my opinion. They could have at least given him one whole episode to kind of to train her, but obviously they just cheaped out for the first scene. But that was pretty obvious. It wasn't deep. It wasn't like mind-bending like Loki was, or a bit like WandaVision was. It was it's pretty surface. What's the word? It was pretty superficial. Sorry, but it was enjoyable. I thought it was fun. I liked a bit about Captain America having sex. I thought that paid off funny. That was a funny ending. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was. I'd probably give it like a 7 or an 8, 7.5 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
Go.
Shall I or shall you, Ben? One. Right. Okay.
Ben has been dumbfounded. Ben has been dumbfounded into silence.
I'm gonna go. 3 minutes in. 3 minutes in. New character, new season, new series, never been seen before. 3 minutes in, breaks a fourth wall. 3 minutes in, right? Who the fuck does she think she is? Tony Stark?
But that's...
What? You don't break the fourth wall 3 minutes in.
Well, Deadpool did it 30 seconds in.
Yeah, Deadpool, different
and
different kettle of fish, right? And then she breaks it again at the end, right? Okay, but okay.
If you're going to use that as a story device, then
but the whole story device was so freaking boring. It was like Mr. Miyagi on the slowest drug going.
Right, okay, so it was
wax on. Really? Oh my! We didn't need to know about Bruce Banner's bar. And his bromance with Tony Stark, that's for another show altogether. I mean, oh my God, it was dire. It was like, and I tell you what, I want to meet this woman because I've yet to meet a woman that has only one personality. Absolutely appalling in my view. I give it a 1.
Okay.
Wow.
Because it's
So you are the review bomber.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's appalling. It did nothing for me. I thought, my God, thank God it's only 35 minutes long, right? Because
Was it only 35 minutes long?
I know it seemed like longer.
It felt way longer.
But it just dragged on and on and on. And you know, it was a bit woke. It was like, oh, women are so powerful and all this. Yeah, we know all this. We know women are brilliant, you know, but everybody's different. But, you know, you don't need to throw it down our throats the way they did. It was like, oh my God, I'm being spoon-fed the most bland porridge I've ever had.
It just felt to me, I thought the effects were terrible. I did. I know he is fake, but Smart Hulk just looked so fake. His mouth didn't line up with his dialogue. It was just, I was sitting there going, how am I meant to get invested in this when obviously, let's start with the effects. They're not finished. And if that is finished, then the effects house that they're hiring, they need to fire, quite frankly. But I understand it's got a much lower budget than the movies, and I have to agree with John that I agree with you.
Some of the plot devices, like the spaceship, the whole spaceship reason for being
that was weird.
Thing. What was all that about?
I think you're going to find out down the line, right?
Yeah, but that's not how you fucking deliver a message. You know, try and kill who you're delivering the message to. You know, it just the whole thing's just crazy.
My main problem with the her getting the powers scene is that basically his blood fell into her blood.
Yeah,
that was it. You didn't actually see it happen. Obviously, they're not going to show that.
I had hoped they would do it the way the comics, and the way the comics, she gets into a situation where she needs a blood transfusion, and the only person that can do that is Bruce, and he transfuses his blood into her, and she becomes She-Hulk that way. But
that would make sense. Yeah,
it was just.
Well, you kind of saw his blood dripping onto her arm, and then it running into the big cut.
Yeah,
it was clumsy. It was clumsy.
And I also think it just did it shoved the message, the woke diversity message down our throats completely. It was, oh look, I can transform back and forth because woman good, man bad. Oh look,
that was.
Oh look, I can control my anger more than you because I do it every day because I'm a woman.
And it's like when she says, when he goes, is there only one person in there? You don't have to argue with someone. I'm like, that's not a woman I've ever met. I mean, really? Have you ever met a woman that's only got one personality?
I've never met a man that's only got one personality. Right? I've never met a person. It was just shoving it down our throats. It's like, okay, we know. And the thing is, I don't even blame Tatiana Maslany, the actress, because she is a great actress and she is working with what she's got. And unfortunately, what she's got is a steaming pile of shit. So it's unfortunate. But this is only the first episode, and I am willing to give it a chance because we're pretty sure it's going to be effects-like going forwards. It's going to be an effects-like comedy of sorts by the looks of it.
Can I ask a question? Can anyone explain the court scene at the end?
Jamil just breaking in through the wall.
That was weird. That was weird. Like they didn't she burst in. She didn't even have a line. I don't think she said one line. No one explained who she was or why she was bursting in. I mean, I know that it leaves something to be told later on, but that did feel like the editing was quite poor on that. Like you didn't even see her face. You barely saw her face in close up for a second. It was literally like someone's burst in. We have no idea why they've burst in, or we don't know who they are. You have to give us something to kind of contextualize the fact that someone's burst into the courtroom, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the effects on that scene were just dire.
If you were, yeah, they were pretty poor. I mean, if you were doing this, would you not like you could even turn the whole thing around and start with something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And like how did we get here?
Yeah, and then go into flashback.
Yeah, I mean, so movies and shows do that all the time. So you'll see like a big action scene, and then it'll freeze, and it'll be like, well, you can see, and she could have broken the fourth wall at that point as well, because
I was going to say the same thing.
Here?
Yeah, exactly.
And it would have made sense in the moment, but it didn't in this show.
The way they introduced it, it was too quick as well. You don't break the fourth wall when you don't even know the character's name.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh,
but
I think
Deadpool, different ball game, right? Different ball game altogether because Deadpool's Deadpool, right?
Yeah, Deadpool basically his whole thing is breaking the fourth wall. But I've never read the comics of She-Hulk, so I don't know if she did it in the comics. If maybe that was something they used in the comics. Ben, do you know that?
Perhaps they did. It's simply a perhaps situation because it was just one of those comics that I never wanted to read, and that also brings me back to the question: who is this show for?
Yeah. So clumsy.
No one.
Because the problem is with the MCU, right? The main fan base for the MCU
Sorry,
are
I thought you
nerdy geek men that are comic book readers, you know, and then when they do this kind of thing and they say, well, basically, if you don't like it, it's not for you, shut up. And that's what the stars are doing right now, by the way.
I know what, I'm going to have to get Sean to watch this and find out because he's MCU mad. So we might get some insight. I'll watch it for the next show.
I think it's pretty obvious that they want the whole point is that people reading comics and watching Marvel films are, you know, probably middle-aged men these days. Yes. They want to broaden the audience. So Miss Marvel was going for the tween/teen audience.
Yeah, but there's broadening the audience, and then there's
She-Hulk is going for, you know, independent women. Inverted commas.
Because one of the adverts or not reviews, but one of the things I saw written about it from Marvel was this is one of her horniest series ever.
Horniest,
yeah.
That's what it said. That was from Marvel. So what audience do you think they're actually targeting?
I have no idea. I mean, does that mean that she's?
Who's she
getting it on with? I don't understand. Like,
well, yeah, is the whole thing not going to be about her dating now? Because I think that's what's coming.
I think there's going to be a lot of dating. Yeah,
it's going to be a cringe fest. In my view,
if I could choose where the series went, I would say that I would make it not a courtroom drama, but I would make it more about her job and the people that she interacts with on a weekly basis. And so like
I think it's going to be more about our dating life.
But I agree with you, Ollie. If they still have a chance to make it interesting, they can push that poor opening episode out of the way and give us some good story. Do I think they're going to? No, I don't.
Possibly not.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Hey, what? Why? When's it next on?
Next Thursday.
So are we going to watch the next episode and give a kind of either a rebirth or just finish the week?
I think next week we do have to come back and see whether or not there was a change/improvement over what they deliver us, right?
But like we were saying, like the last two series of Star Wars and Marvel, they've had like a kind of an actiony opening, then they've gone dead for like 2 or 3 episodes and been a bit boring. And then they'd come back for like the last 2 or 3 episodes and really,
Obi-Wan Kenobi was a death knell. It was awful.
I thought the thing is the last episode was very good, and so I didn't love Obi-Wan. I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 7 out of 10 overall.
I think the thing that sank Obi-Wan for me was the really, really poor performances.
Yeah, even from Ewan himself, he was phoning it in as far as I'm concerned.
He just wasn't interested.
No, and do you know what I'm going to say? and this might be a bit controversial, but I believe that the people writing these TV shows for Star Wars and Marvel are neither Star Wars or Marvel fans.
Right.
No.
And I think that's hurting it.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably the fact that they have like probably a team of writers, and there's probably one. They probably get the first draft almost is done by somebody who just doesn't even name the characters. They just basically do a prescribed woke script of any good description of based on whether it's a courtroom or whether it's a teen or whatever. And then they get the Marvel or Star Wars fans to basically just put the names in and the references and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's really, really unfortunate because if we got people who cared about the character, cared about the canon, cared about the source material, writing these shows, fans of them, I think you would see something quite special. But these people are not that. And they are just writing... It's almost like a production line at this point of shows. Instead of actually writing content for the sake of writing the content, they're writing content for a release date that they're told they have to have it out by, right? So they've got these big roadmaps. This series is coming on this date. We have nothing written for it. You go and write something for that show now. And that's basically what it is. It's not finding the best people to make the best quality product. And that's ultimately what we've been talking about on this show for the last few weeks. A good quality product. And that's all I want for my money. And that's not what I'm getting.
Yeah. And it seems to be that while Marvel seems to have taken over Hollywood production, right? The best movies that are coming out, or the best series that are coming out of Hollywood or that genre, are the ones that mock them. Like The Boys and Kick-Ass and things like that. They're streets ahead of the stuff that's being churned out now.
Unfortunately, I think you are absolutely right, because these people care about the stuff that they make. Like Eric Kripke on The Boys cares about what he's doing. Yeah. He loves the source material, right?
Yeah.
And it shines through and it shows.
The Boys is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, Marvel almost is like Hollywood now. Basically, it's like Marvel basically controls. Yeah. We're seeing Cineworld going bust. We're seeing Cineworld going bust this week. So basically, the only thing propping up multiplexes right now is Marvel films.
Well, and they know it as well.
Yeah. And so basically, the multiplexes are going to go bust in the next couple of years, and you're going to be back to having independent cinemas and the small boutique chains of cinemas. Basically, everyone's going to watch Marvel films. Will basically go straight to Disney Plus.
And well, you know what? This gives us an opportunity, because the rise of the small and independent filmmaker, is there for the taking.
Yeah, no, it's true. And the same with cinemas as well. I think, there's a big opportunity. There's going to be a big gap in the market because the multiplexes won't be able to sustain themselves because there's not enough. Marvel can't put out a film every week. They're putting out 3 films a year already as it is. And so
they're putting out 3 films a year and about 4 Disney Plus series at the moment.
Yeah.
They've seriously ramped up production, and it's
they're killing their CGI guys, aren't they?
Yeah,
the graphic artists and that are they're like, we can't do this.
And I mean, the quality of work is shining through. And unfortunately, I know you thought it was fine, but when you're watching some of those scenes down in that lab, and you're close up on Smart Hulk, and his dialogue is not matching his animation, it's really jarring. It's really jarring. And
I think it's definitely the case that Marvel are overproducing right now. I think Star Wars with Filoni and Favreau have good captains at the helm, if you like. I know that I feel like Obi-Wan was fan service and it was a bit of a misstep, but I think that Andor will bring it back again. I think that Marvel is way overproducing. I'm not sure if Feige is in total control of everything. I feel like, it's got away from them.
I think, and this might be controversial on this channel, but I think Star Trek Strange New Worlds actually did all right.
I haven't seen it yet.
You didn't like it, Ollie? No?
I don't watch Star Trek. I'm a Star Wars purist. I'm a purist. I don't watch Star Trek.
Well, you can't compare it if you don't watch it. That's the problem.
No, that's true. I mean, I've watched it. I've probably watched a bit of original series, a bit of Next Gen. I've watched probably most of the films that came out in the 90s and the noughties.
Yeah.
But it never engaged me. It never
No,
it was just it was bored me. It was always about the bureaucracy and that was what I didn't like about Star Wars when they did bureaucracy in the prequels. So like I don't know what I wouldn't like Star Trek, so I steer clear of it mostly.
Yeah, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do, and
I mean, that's fair. That's each one to their own. I mean, I obviously grew up with Star Trek, and I mean, Star Trek was the science fiction series before anything else, really.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
And in 1978, Star Wars came out and blew my mind.
77, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I saw it in 1978. This is Scotland.
Yeah.
We're a year behind everyone else. But yeah,
I can't remember. I think it came out here later. It might have been late '77 in the UK. I can't remember.
Yeah, but I remember seeing it more or less as it came out, and I'm sure it was '78. But
it might well have been.
I went to see it 3 or 4 times, in the first week.
Wow,
it's that good. I just kept going back, and I thought this is fantastic. And to me, the second film was like 10 times better, which is unusual because normally the sequel is usually worse. But no, Empire always gets noticed as the standout movie because it's the one where they don't win in the end.
Exactly, which is why I'm not going to get into a Last Jedi conversation here. But which is why The Last Jedi is the best of the sequels. Anyway, moving on.
It's definitely
John,
not.
You need to watch. We'll do that another day. John, there's a series on Disney Plus called Light and Magic, which is a documentary about the evolution of industrial light and magic.
Yeah.
Did I say it last week? I can't remember. But you need to watch it because it's really.
I've watched the first episode.
Okay.
I've watched the whole series and it's fantastic. It's absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And the fact that I didn't see any of the original trilogy in the cinema because I was too young. I saw them on TV in the late 80s, and on VHS. But I'm envious of you that you got to see them in the cinema. So yeah, you would love Light and Magic on Disney Plus.
Yeah, and when we went to the cinema, it was like the cinema that we went to was one screen, okay?
Yeah.
The stalls and the circle, so you had double height. So you can imagine the size the screen was because it's now like a 5-screen cinema, the same building.
Yeah.
Right? So you can imagine the size the actual screen was. It was ginormous.
Yeah, I think that's where cinema will go back to. I grew up in a small town and we had one screen cinema, and they choose one. They had you could go and see one film a week, and that was it. And so I think that's the way it'll go back. Like I think it will go back to those small, maybe 2 or 3 screens. Some of these like boutique cinemas have now. I think it will go back to that, and I think Disney will probably still put their films in these types of cinemas. But yeah, I think it'll mostly go to streaming.
One of the best movies I went to, well, not the best movies, but one of the best atmospheres was when I went to that cinema and to see Rocky 3.
Nice.
And my brother and I got the last 2 seats in the cinema, and it was like being a real live boxing match because you know how normally, Ben, our audiences are restrained.
Yes.
No. People were jumping on their seats and cheering when he won it. It was incredible.
Do you know what? I do much prefer the cinema experience in the States to the cinema experience in the UK because your audience is so much more involved.
Yeah.
Right? And I've been even Toy Story 2. I remember going to see Toy Story 2 in the States, and that scene where they're hanging on the plane, the audience went nuts. They just went nuts. And it's so good. It's such a good atmosphere, such a fun experience. And here it's just stay silent. Stay silent.
I saw Ghostbusters 2 in New York.
You did?
Wow, that's so cool.
And in Times Square in New York, and bloody hell, you'd think it was happening outside the way the audience were behaving.
Yeah, it's such a fun experience, an experience you rarely get here in the UK. Anyway, let's move...
Before you go on.
Yeah.
My cinema experience in the US. What's the most patriotic 90s American film you could possibly see in the cinema in America? Any ideas?
Maybe Top Gun. No, that's not 90s, is it?
In the 90s?
Yeah. Mid-90s patriotic American film Will Smith.
Oh,
Independence Day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I saw Independence Day in an American cinema with a packed audience, and that was like absolutely. It was like going to a concert. It was like going to a rock concert. It was absolutely unreal. Anyway, sorry, Ben, you carry on.
I'll bet people were crying when Bill Paxton made his speech.
Yeah. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. And anyhow, let's move on. Ollie, we have a final story for today, and we are talking about the D23 Expo coming up in September, I believe. So take it away.
Specifically, D23 Expo is, I think it's like 3 weeks away, second weekend in September, maybe. And
for those uninitiated, the D23 Expo.
What's a D23 Expo? Is this some sort of robot from Star Wars?
I was about to tell you before you interrupted me rudely.
Sorry. I thought it was quite funny, though, because I've no fucking idea what D23 Expo is.
Not meant to be swearing on this channel, John.
I know, sorry. You swore last.
So, the D23 Expo is Disney's essentially their answer to Comic-Con. It's where they have their own 2 to 3 day expo at the Anaheim Convention Center. There's panels.
Girls clad dancing.
Maybe the expo goers might act like that. Yeah. So they get to dress up. They get to dress up in their favorite Disney cosplays, which is actually something you can't do on the parks. Disney don't allow you to dress up as a Disney character. So to go
but little kids, can they not go as princesses?
They can, yes, but adults are not allowed to dress up as Disney characters.
My God.
So D23 Expo will be thousands upon thousands of adults dressed as their favorite Disney character. Going to panels about the parks, about upcoming movies. Marvel will have a panel. I believe they're actually probably going to announce a lot of stuff for the Fantastic Four movie and other movies that are coming up at that panel. Star Wars will have a panel. Basically, they gave little crumbs for Comic-Con because that's not their event, and then at their event they'll drop bombs, essentially.
Right. So that Peter File won't be there, will he?
Well, I'm just saying there could be a Peter File there. You never know. But what there won't be really is children. So Peter might be best staying in the White House.
Have you watched the IT Crowd, Ollie?
When it was first on, I don't remember. Yeah.
Do you not remember Peter File?
I just thought I made a very good joke there that went over both of your heads.
The White House.
Explain it. What was it?
I said Peter might be best staying in the White House.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
No, I didn't get it.
So Joseph R. Biden is in his son's mobile phone as Pedo Peter.
Oh, sorry. Okay, fine.
That's his dad's number in his phone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's confirmed.
That's confirmed. That's real.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden has Joe in his phone as Pedo Peter.
Wow.
Make of that what you
will.
Make of it what you will. I'm just telling you that's a real thing. Anyway, Ollie, let's hear more about the expo.
Yeah, carry on about this D23.
So, John,
is it? It sounds like a camera. A DX23. I'm going to DX23. Are you really? My God, I hope it's not painful.
If you sit quietly, children, I will explain.
Right, carry on.
So D obviously is for Disney, and 23 is the year that the Walt Disney Company was incorporated. 1923, if I didn't say that. And so, yeah, basically the official fan club was created, I think, in 2009. It was the first time that they had an official fan club. And they have the convention every 2 or 3 years, I think it is. The main talking point of the convention every time it's on is the Legends ceremony. So obviously you have Marvel fans, you have Star Wars fans, but the hardcore Disney-specific fans, as in classic Disney fans, always look out for the Legends Awards ceremony. So the Legends Awards were created in 1987, and they were given out every year to people who had contributed to the company in such a way that they need to be recognized. This would be film stars, it would be Imagineers, it would be businessmen who contributed to the success of the company. But obviously, it was specifically Disney because they until like 1990. Well, no, the mid 2000s they hadn't. They acquired Pixar, I think, like 2006. I want to say, I could be wrong. But until they acquired Pixar, these awards were purely about Walt and his closest allies and the biggest film stars who contribute to the company over decades. Then D23, the fan club, was created in 2009, and they took over the awards, the awarding of the Disney Legends Award, which then now happens every 2 or 3 years whenever the expo is on. And obviously Iger took over, and he made it into a popularity / diversity / woke contest. And so, whereas before it was purely about the history of the company, the integrity of Walt and his ideals, it's now basically who do we want to promote, the synergy machine, and whoever's in favor currently.
Yeah, it's a popularity contest, like you said. And who have we got this year being awarded?
So we have a couple of Imagineers, completely warranted, great. We have the guy who secretly purchased all of the Florida real estate to build Disney World. So in 1973.
Hold on.
What's an Imagineer?
Oh, an Imagineer is somebody who designs the parks and resorts and the rides and the like. The Imagineers are basically who create the Disney properties. They create the hotels.
Nothing to do with the movies or anything. Just
no.
Right.
I mean, they might use Imagineering sometimes in their movies, but I would highly doubt it would be, a regular thing. These people are the people that make Disney.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like Ollie said, their awarding at this ceremony would be absolutely warranted. And I mean, is Joe Rody one of them?
He is not one of them. He is conspicuous in his absence. I'll get onto the absences in a minute, but there's a lot of, like I said, it's totally like just paying lip service to people. It's completely just butchered now, this whole award ceremony.
Let's go through it then.
So we have a couple of Imagineers completely warranted. We have Bob Foster, who Walt tasked with purchasing Florida land at a cheap price in 1963.
Yeah.
So until I think it was probably 3 or 4 years before anybody realized it was a Disney company purchasing all this land.
Yeah,
so
they made a load of secret shell companies and they bought it up cheap.
Exactly. So he is getting one, which is fantastic. That's great news. I think that Chadwick Boseman is totally warranted.
Of course.
Posthumously, I think he deserves one. He made Black Panther is a 5-star film. He made.
I don't think we agree on that, but still.
But we'll agree that he's worthy in his contribution.
Yeah, of course.
And
never seen it.
It's fantastic. Watch it.
It's basically Iron Man, but in Wakanda.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Then, this is where we get to the pointless nonsense. So we have the two main stars of Grey's Anatomy getting Disney Legends Awards.
Like, what's her name?
So I've forgotten her name. It's on my list here. So Patrick Dempsey is obviously the main actor in. I've never watched it. I've never literally.
Yeah, but is Patrick Dempsey getting his Disney Legends Awards for the two Enchanted films?
No. Well, no. I don't think you can argue that starring in one film, which was good, inverted commas, gets you a Disney award. Gets you a Legend award.
First of all,
what are you getting it for?
Exactly, he's getting it because it's ABC, so Disney owns ABC. Grey's Anatomy is probably the biggest success on ABC in the last 20 years. Yeah. And so it's nominally, basically, what they've done also.
Is it still running, Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah, no, literally, I think it still is. I've never watched it, but I think it still is.
But the thing is, right, whilst I can see, obviously ABC is indeed Disney, and I can see why they would want to honour that, but I think it's off-brand. I don't think being honoured for Grey's Anatomy at a Disney Legends Awards makes much sense. That's just...
It's nonsense. And even less so, the two lead actors of the series Blackish, again, two people who've starred in a TV series for a number of seasons, but their connection to Disney, it's an ABC show, their connection to Disney is questionable. The series has only just finished, my main problem with a lot of these awards this year is they've happened in the last decade. The whole point of the Disney Legends Award is that that someone contributed, they have major impact, and they contributed over a series of decades, or their impact was felt decades later.
So
I feel like
Ellen Pompeo from Grey's Anatomy is just not in my opinion. But Patrick Dempsey, they can say, right, well, he's been in the Enchanted movie. The sequel Disenchanted has not actually come out yet, so
yeah, like Enchanted is very popular amongst Disney fans, but it wasn't a smash. It wasn't like It didn't make $1 billion. And the sequel, they only made the sequel because the fans
wanted it,
basically clamored for it. Like, they wouldn't have made a sequel to that film unless the fans really, really demanded it. So
I agree.
It's not like they haven't, like, he hasn't made a huge contribution to the company. And the same with Ellen Pompeo.
Well, if it was for his portrayal in Enchanted, this Disney Legends Award, surely Amy Adams would have got one too,
well,
and she hasn't.
Exactly. No, exactly. So basically, that's the ABC nominations: is the 2 lead actors of Blackish, the 2 lead actors of Grey's Anatomy. That's completely like tokenistic. It's complete nonsense. Then we move on to the 4 lead actors of Frozen. So, Idina Menzel will deserve this award in approximately 10 to 20 years' time. You could argue that Josh Gad would also be deserving this award in 10 to 20 years' time.
I would actually argue that of the 4, Josh Gad is the most deserving so far.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that. I mean,
because he has starred in multiple Disney properties now, and in fact he still does Olaf for things like the stage show portrayals, and for things like even Sophia the First, a Disney Channel series. In an episode that Olaf appears, they did not get a sound alike. Josh Gad did it.
He's basically the Anthony Daniels of the Disney world.
Yeah, so and I would say out of the 4, Josh Gad is definitely the most deserving at this time, because he has contributed the most to Disney. But they're gonna argue Idina Menzel sung "Let It Go," right? Yeah,
exactly. But then when you go, so basically, so I'll go with you actually on that one. I'll say that I hadn't really thought about that much, but you're right. Josh Gad is probably at this time. Josh Gad is probably the most deserving. Then they think, if we give it to Josh Gad, we've got to give it to Idina Menzel. If we give it to Idina Menzel, we've got to give it to Kristen Bell. And then Jonathan Groff is in there. It's just like for no reason whatsoever. Like, oh my God, seriously.
Jonathan Groff is one of those people. You go, who?
Yeah, literally, who?
And he's been in 2 Frozen films and a couple of shorts once again. But other than that, what would people know him from? I mean,
nothing. He was in Hamilton. Was he in Hamilton or something? Or was he's come from Broadway?
I have no idea. There's the thing.
No.
I don't know what this man has done. And once again, I'm not knocking the man. Because, he's doing the work that he's doing. I just don't know if he's deserving of what would be called a Disney Legends Award.
Yeah, I'm just reading Z23 article right now, and like he was on Broadway in one show called Spring Awakening. I thought he might have been in Hamilton or that other famous one I can't think of right now. But yeah, literally all he's done is Frozen, and like he voices Kristoff, and he sang half a song. Like literally, like it's unbelievable. Like, oh wow, John's lost the will to live. Yeah.
Yep. So
the people, Ben, who haven't got a Disney Legend Award. Who did you say? Sorry,
I said Joe Rohde.
Yeah, Joe Rohde is probably number 1. I would say number 2 is probably Tom Hanks has not got a Disney Legend Award.
Oh, wow.
Tom Hanks is lucky to not be in jail.
Sorry, carry on.
No. Tom Hanks has not got a Disney Legend Award. Ron Clements and John Musker do not have Disney Legend Awards. Eric Goldberg does not have a Disney Legends Award. The list is literally huge, but they don't fit in with like their, the synergy machine right now.
Well, no, absolutely not. And with that, I do think our hour is up.
Thank God.
John, I'm sorry. John, I'm sorry for taking over that last section.
Sorry.
John, who is not a Disney fan, who is our resident layman every week.
Yeah, I was to behave and shit, Charlie.
Has lost the will to live by the end of this one.
I think it just goes to show how ridiculous our conversation was, and the fact that just to an outsider, it's just petty infighting. It's just petty infighting, really. I'll
be honest, guys. See that last section? I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, I knew who the two guys out of Grey's Anatomy were. I've seen them. I've seen Grey's Anatomy, and many years ago now, but I've seen it, and I know who they were. But after that, I was just lost.
And this is why we have a layman on the show, right? Because we like to know what their perspective is on these things, and believe me, that is very, very, very telling.
Yeah, no, that's proved it right there. That's literally just shone an entire light on the whole situation.
Yeah, it really has.
I'll to be fair, you could cut that whole last section, and I wouldn't have missed it. You know what I mean?
Well, but that's
part of the whole thing, because you'll get people watching this that are like really into that kind of stuff, and it's probably good that you put it at the end.
Yeah.
Because what we should probably say is, and now for
we're still live.
Now for that, that's what I'm saying. So at the end, what we do is now it's hardcore Disney, and then you give it Tonka,
So I went to Legoland a couple of days ago, boys.
Yeah.
And I had a good time.
Did you see the burnt hotel?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, and was it really burnt? Yeah.
Where they covered it in tarp.
The whole thing?
Yeah, but where it was all burnt, they put scaffold up and covered it all in tarp.
People still staying in it? No?
Yeah, still open.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, you really think Merlin are going to lose that bloody August money, John?
No.
Come on now.
That's tremendous. It's still open.
It's still open. You can't go in the front door. Can't go in the front door.
Don't worry about the small smell of burning. It's okay.
Can't go in the front door. They're being directed like round the side. Yeah, you're not going in the cool archway with the dragon. You're still paying like £400-500 a night to stay there. But
you no reduction?
Oh no, don't be stupid.
Were any of the restaurants or anything damaged? Do you know?
No, it's just the front. I think it was just the front of the building. So they got lucky. But no reduction in price. Just a reduced experience.
Or burn?
But no, I'm almost ashamed to say that I had a really, really good time at Legoland. Like I've had good. I had a better time at Legoland than I've had at Disney parks in the last few years. I had a really good time.
What would be the point in going if you didn't have a good time?
Yeah, but I went. We go to take the kids. It's not about us having a good time. It's about them having a good time when we're taking the kids, right?
They have a good time. You have a good time.
It was a really, really good day, and operations were fantastic. There wasn't a single ride down anywhere on resort. It was.
You remember our experience at Alton Towers? That was not good.
That was not good at all, and it's the same company.
Even at Disney, it wasn't good.
No, operations.
We were in the queue for the black hole, and we had to go because it finished. Well, it was not the black hole anymore. What was it called?
Space Mountain.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, we had a fantastic time. The kids had a fantastic time, and I'm hoping that can be replicated when we go to Disney in October. But you know what? I'm not hopeful.
Ooh.
And that's the brass tacks of it. They are cutting, and they are cutting when it comes to operations. They're cutting when it comes to maintenance. If rides go down, they go down. I mean, let's just talk about the Buzz Lightyear animatronic at Disneyland Paris. How long did they leave him with essentially his arm hanging off?
Years?
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
So the thing is, this, you always think of Disney and places like that as being right on top of all this shit. And as soon as something goes wrong, they're on it. Because you can't afford for your reputation to be damaged, but they seem to be allowing their reputations to be damaged.
Even the fountain outside of It's a Small World had a crack in it for how long?
A decade. At least a decade.
This crack was not small.
Yeah.
Massive crack in the fountain. And they finally did something. And what they did was just ridiculous. They just put essentially a blue patch over it that's a different
tape
shade
over
of
it.
blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then people go, oh, they
I
fixed
did
the
that when we went to Alton Towers. The fountain didn't work in front of the hotel.
The water feature was not working, but then I think that was a case of cheaping out more than anything. They probably just weren't.
Yeah, but you know what? When people go to these things, they want to suspend belief.
Yes, they do.
And you can't suspend belief if people are cheaping out in front of you.
Well, I suspended my belief that was a hotel at Legoland.
Disney have realised, like we've been saying about all of their, the cost cutting and the overcharging and the reservation system. They've got a captive audience. They know now they can charge whatever they like, and they will still sell the parks out every single day.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
They can do that right now, but it will catch up with them and it will bite them in the ass.
If they keep putting the prices up,
it's not even just putting prices up, it's cheaping out, right? It's because people go there to suspend the belief, and that's why people keep going back, right?
I don't think they'll ever find that point, though. I don't think they'll ever find the point where the prices will stop people coming. I don't think they will find that.
No, well, I don't know, but I mean, I've been to SeaWorld a couple of times, right? Or I've been to SeaWorld probably more times than I should have, right? But
how dare you?
I loved SeaWorld, okay? Loved it. First time I went, magical. Second time, okay. Third time, what the fuck am I doing here, right?
Yeah.
It's like, and the thing is, if you're going to get repeat visitations, you have to continue to allow people to suspend belief.
Yeah.
And if you don't do it, you're sunk.
No, I you know what, I agree with that, and it goes right back to what we've been talking about over and over again. It's product. It's high quality product.
Yeah.
And if you are
get the best product, you can charge top dollar.
Yeah, and Merlin Entertainments, right? We knock them quite a bit actually, but they are the second biggest entertainment company on Earth. They operate far more theme parks on the planet than Disney do, right? Yeah. And if Disney aren't careful, their new Legoland parks, people are loving them. They're opening up Legoland parks. They just opened up one recently in New York, and people are absolutely loving them. And they are far, far cheaper than a Disney park. Yeah. So if they're not careful, Merlin will get a foothold, and they'll take over.
No, but someone will take over from Disney at some point.
Yeah.
Disney won't ever be the top. It might seem it just now when they own like all the movie companies and they own everything, but someday will step up and they'll overtake them at some point. Because Disney you're already seeing the cracks. They're cutting corners.
Yeah, they're cutting corners and they're delivering an inferior product. Look at Avengers Campus.
Yeah, when you start cutting corners and start delivering an inferior products, that's when you start to lose your customer base. When you lose your customer base, you're lost.
Yeah. And on that note, we will be back next week for episode 6 of Dismal Disney. My name is Ben, that is John, and down there is Ollie. So all that's left for all of us to do is say good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Keep waving and smiling, people. Keep waving and smiling. We're not out yet. Wave and smile. Wave and smile. Wave and...